Welcome back to MMA Mathletes. We're two casual MMA fans who happen to be degenerate gamblers. Come join us as we chase the perfect parlay each week. This week we have Ulberg versus Reyes, and if you like this content, make sure you're subscribed. Let's get into it.
This week we have Conor coming back to the UFC to fight Michael Chandler. He's not running for presidency anymore. Big news for Conor this week. Do you think that Michael Chandler is going to give him problems, or what do you think?
First of all, did we ever believe that Conor was going to be president or try to run for president?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just some like random thoughts in his head. Personally, I think Michael Chandler, the first round is going to be the most dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it is every single fight, where he's just throwing his bombs. He's going 100%. I respect that game, but I just don't know if that's going to work with Conor. But at the same time, we don't know what kind of Conor we're going to get.
Do you think we're even going to get a Conor? Do you think that he might pull out before?
It's the John Jones. You can't really bet on it or anything until he's actually in the cage.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, like you were saying, though, I think first round, Michael Chandler is going to be trying to push the pace. Conor's a dangerous guy to do that to. We'll definitely see if he's able to. If he is able to, and it goes into a second round, we're going to see a very slow Michael Chandler and a very sharp we're going to see a very sharp Conor McGregor, and it's going to be very dangerous for Michael Chandler. I don't know if it'll go past that. I think that it's going to be done in two, just because that's how all of his fights are. And if it does go to a third, usually in the third round, we see Conor kind of mellow out, catch his breath. He gets a second wind for the fourth and the fifth round. He's going to come back, and I don't see it going all the way. So if you bet the under on that, I think that's a safe bet on that fight.
Michael Chandler is usually the aggressor, which I usually like as a style of fighting. But the problem is that if Conor is even close to what old Conor was, his counter fighting is so sweet. He gives you so many problems when you're just pushing forward and him just circling out, throwing that cross down the middle. He is very dangerous in that. So it'd be interesting to see where he is in life in terms of fighting.
Yeah, and you also have to think, when Conor was reigning in the 145 division, he was karate Conor.
Yeah.
Lots of kicks, lots of distance management. In this, we'll see if he's more boxing or if he's more kicking. Because when he was full kicking, full punching, he was just crushing it. But then we see him against Dustin Poirier, and he's doing more boxing. Dustin Poirier is going to outbox you. I don't think that we're going to see Michael Chandler wrestling or anything like that. I think that it'd just be safe to say that Conor McGregor should just work on his stand-up. And then we're going to see fireworks that night. How sick is the White House UFC event looking?
I'm just saying, I called it. It looks like Magneto's prison.
It does. It looks like if Magneto's prison was better lit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing that made sense, though, too. Why would you have the White House if you're not going to showcase the White House?
Yep.
And when they have the new UFC game and you're able to fight at the White House, take my money. That's going to be so sick.
What do you think about Diego? So right now, Oliveira, he's looking for a new opponent because Fiziev pulled out because of an injury. What do you think about Diego saying that if he were to get called for that, he would fight Oliveira in Rio?
Oh, I'm so here for that.
I mean, he just got done fighting. This guy's anywhere, anytime, anyone.
Oh, yeah. And he's just a dog. And that's a great stylistic matchup.
Great. That's testing the metal right there.
I mean, last week I said him versus Max Holloway would be a fun fight. I totally forgot that him versus Oliveira would be almost even more fun.
Well, because in our mind, he was fighting Fiziev. In our mind last week, we're thinking he's fighting Fiziev. You know, after he fights Fiziev, it's like, oh, does he go for the belt? If he wins, and if he doesn't win, where does that leave him in the rankings? So it's a whole thing. But now that there's no Fiziev, I mean, him versus Oliveira, that's a great fight. I'm here for that fight.
Oh, yeah. Especially because they're both exceptional grapplers.
Well, especially because both, Oliveira obviously in camp for Fiziev. And then we have Diego, who just finished a fight. So he's just finished a camp. So just going back into a few-week camp is, that's not too bad because he's coming off a camp. I don't think he took too much punishment during his last fight, so I think that he could just bounce back pretty quick.
Also, he'd be at 155 versus 145. And that's not going to be as strenuous of a weight cut.
No, yeah, for sure. Do you think that there's a size advantage? Because Oliveira's a big 155er.
He is big, but Diego's a big 145er.
Oh, yeah, he's a big 145er. I mean, Oliveira, even though he has really superb grappling, his hands, like when he put out Neil, oh my God. I was like, oh, yeah, he does have power. That's right. So
I
him
won't be
being
that
able to,
guy, but everyone puts out Daniil, except for Moicano when I need him on my parlay.
oh my God, Moicano. That's one guy I'm not hyped about. The biggest news for UFC White House, Ronda Rousey making her return. I'm calling it now.
Oh my gosh. No one wants to see that. I'm sorry. Like Ronda Rousey 10 years ago, yeah, we want to see that. Ronda Rousey now, she's so far out of the entire cycle of MMA. It's a completely different sport than when she left.
Yeah, there's too much new blood. It's kind of like she's been cycled through.
Yeah, like who's gonna fight her? I mean, we can all agree, right, that the bantamweight division of the women's division is gonna be one of the least impressive in terms of talent. No offense, but beyond Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes now, who else is people that you're like, oh, that person's dangerous. I'm scared to see that person fight that person.
I mean, we could always give her someone else who doesn't have the best hands and has good grappling. We'd always give her Juliana Pena.
Dude, Juliana Pena, I mean, that would be a good fight.
I think that's the only fight that really makes sense for a return of such a big name and someone of her caliber. You know, it would be so stupid to give her something under a top 10. And I mean, there's not that many. I feel like there's not that many people, like you said, that are really poking out to me in the 135 division. So I would just give her Juliana Pena. If she wins, I would give her, another fight. See if maybe Nunes can, dust her again. Maybe Kayla Harrison, whoever loses the fight, she gets that person. So give her that. If she loses, just retire. Why are you even coming back to the sport?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
But there's no way she goes and she posts her training footage. As soon as Dana White said he's going to be making the fight card early next year, she's trying to get on that card. She's trying to make money. I mean, smart money move, but I mean, I'm not excited for that fight. I'm not excited for her to come back in general.
Her versus Pena, it makes a lot of sense. First of all, the lead up to the fight, one thing Ronda Rousey is pretty good at is shit talking. Like she's good at being on the mic. And Juliana Pena is also really good at being on the mic. So that would definitely promote and give more hype to the fight. I don't know if you really need it because it already sells itself with it being at the White House, but it would definitely give it more hype. It's good for both of them because if Pena wins, then she kind of gets a win that she should have won sort of under her feet. She can get back into being a little bit more confident and start her streak going and try to get back into maybe title contention. We'll see.
I feel like once you get momentum in that division, though, title contention's not too far off.
Yeah.
Unlike a really packed, like 155, 145 in the men's division. I mean, that's like, and even 135. Those are like hard divisions to really get a title shot. But I mean, in women's 135, I feel like just a few fights, you could be in title contention.
Yeah, it's kind of like the men's heavyweight.
It's like the men's 125ers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you can get down to 125 pounds? Do you want to fight Pantoja?
Yeah, dude. Like, what was that? I was like, crazy.
Yeah, someone you've never heard of. Yeah, we're going to put him in the title.
It's like,
see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we're just padding Pantoja's record at this point.
Yeah, but he is that guy.
He is that good.
To be fair, he is that guy.
The other thing is that we're calling out the Merab versus Yan fight. Everyone said it was stupid. Merab said he wants Umar to lose against Peter Yan, and then Merab wants to beat Corey, and then he wants to have Merab versus Yan too. I am here for that fight. I think it's crazy to overlook Corey though, because Corey is very, very tricky. And he's very dangerous. But, I mean, Peter Yan versus Merab too, that's going to be a great second fight. I don't care what everyone else is saying. That's going to be a great fight.
The great fight by itself is going to be Corey Sandhagen versus Merab as well.
Two great fights, back to back.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's just the battle of coaching as well. Because you got Trevor Whitman on one side and you got John Wood on the other side. That's going to be great chess match. I don't know. I love the Yan versus Merab idea. Just because the first time I mean, I don't think Peter Yan fought his best fight, and he could probably agree as well when you rewatch the fight. I feel like there was a lot of opportunities that he just didn't really catch in the first fight, that when he probably watched the film, he was like, dude, I could have done that. I could have done that. Could have done that. And have a lot of regret over that fight. It'd be nice to see him come out a little bit more confident in what he can do. He also now understands Merab's pace, understands how strong he is as well. So it's easier to gauge the next fight for him and try to make those adjustments.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about his strength and his cardio, but think about how far Merab's come since his last fight. That's just going to be a great fight, and I can't wait to see Merab push the pace and see how Yan is able to, counteract that.
I wonder how Merab even does on that fight in terms of like what his strategy is. Because is he just going to go and walk him down?
Mm-hmm.
Or is he going to just put him up against the cage? Because Jan's going to be prepared for that. He's going to be fully prepared. He knows exactly what he's looking for in terms of where he's going to try to put the fight and how strong he is. And for a fact, all he's doing right now is working on those, working on the cage game, working on making sure he doesn't get his back to the cage, working on all those things. Because if he's not, that's a dumb fight for him to take, because that's exactly what Merab's going to try to do. Try to put you to the cage, try to get you, collect your feet, take you down, all that stuff. Because that's what he does to everyone, every fight. So if you're not trying to figure out how you're circling out, how you're making sure you're not pushing yourself against the cage, making sure you're constantly trying to obtain the center of the octagon, you should probably not take that fight.
Oh, 100%. Speaking of really good fights to make, so Strickland gets off his suspension in November. I'm thinking Adesanya versus Strickland December, because he wants to come back December. However, Whitaker wants Sean Strickland early 2026.
I'm here for both those fights.
I'm saying take both. I'm saying you fight Adesanya, and then early 2026, you fight Whitaker. I mean, those are both great fights. Let's get Sean back to being active. Let's just see him, climb the chain. I want to see him versus Adesanya, see if it was a fluke the first time. They're both kind of on like the back end now. They've both dropped from championship level.
Yeah.
So they both dropped from there. And then Whitaker's kind of in the same place as well. I mean, just give all three of them, just put them all in the cage at once. I'd love to see that.
What a weird circumstance we're in the 185 division, where we have three former champs. I would say pretty much not even close to title contention, because I feel like they're at least 2 fights away.
Yeah, at least 2 fights, yeah.
So that's so weird to think about. 3 actual legit champs that were undisputed, that all are in this weird like realm where they don't really want to probably go down, because obviously they don't deserve to fight. Some of these people are at between 10 and 15, but then at the same time, no one between like the top 5 are wanting to fight them, because they're waiting for their chance to get Hamzat. Super weird. I can't think of any other division that it was like that. Maybe 205, back like when you had Chuck Liddell and all the goats in that division with like Randy Couture and Tio Ortiz. Maybe that era, but besides that, I can't really think of a different division, different era that was like that.
No, for sure. It's literally like the champion of 185 is on the island, and there's all these top 5 sharks just swimming around. But then you drop to like 5 to 10, and it's like, I mean, yeah, they're dogs, but then you drop to like 10 to 15, and it's like you would never put someone in those 2 categories against a Sean Strickland, a Robert Whitaker, an Adesanya. You know what I mean? You just wouldn't do it unless they're on the rise, and that's the next fight to be made.
Yeah, like I want to see Kopylov or Rodriguez versus Adesanya.
No, yeah.
Like I just think that Adesanya is way too good for that.
Yeah.
My opinion.
I think it would be a boring fight. I think it would be like, obviously take every cent that you have in your account and put it on Strickland, Whitaker, or Sean Strickland if they were to fight RoboCop, or if they were to fight Kopylov. It's just such a big level gap. Those people aren't going to make the adjustments to get to that level. Like, they're not going to be able to get to that level. So if I were in their shoes, I would just try to put on the most exciting fights that you can. Be a Drew Dober. Drew Dober, I mean, every fight I'm tuning in because he's just so exciting. But I don't really see him going and being a champion. But win or lose, I'm glad I watched that fight that he had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be one of the sport.
Yeah. 100%. I
Yeah.
agree. So do you think that when you're in your athletic prime, that's when your brain's knowledge of what to do meets with your body's ability to do it?
Yeah, I think that's where the X and the Y axis hits perfectly.
Because like it's so interesting to see some of these people that are a little bit older. I watched some of Chuck Liddell's old clips, and like when he was getting older, he was still cracking. He was still in it. Like you'd see his eyes, and he has such good vision and such good knowledge of what he's supposed to do in the ring. But sometimes it just felt like his body didn't want to do it. Like it didn't have the reaction time of what his brain has.
Yeah, that's like you're basically learning all this knowledge and your body's following along with you. But then once your body stops, and if he were to keep in it, he would just get so smart. And then it's just like, then that's when you start coaching because your body's not keeping up with how much information you have. Just give them that information out to people and then see if they can do it. I think everyone has a limit of how much they can learn and how much their body can learn. And sometimes it might be a short axis or sometimes it might be a tall axis. I think some people, they get lucky and they're athletically gifted or power, whatever the case may be. And you think that they have the body of what they're learning, but they actually don't. They just have the luck, the skill, the power, whatever it is naturally. And the drop off is like this. I think that's how it goes. It's one or the other. I don't think it's, I think you get to a peak and it's either going this way or it's going that way.
I think the saddest thing is when you see people that are just athletic specimens, just once in a generation type of talent where they have something about them. Like a lot of times it's like you'll see it in football where someone can throw like, 80 yards down the field and just throw it. Like it's an absolute bomb. But because they go through all the competition and people just keep on saying, yes, man, like, oh, you're so good. You're so good. You're so good. They don't get the work ethic that is involved with being with other high level competitors. Because once you get to a certain point, it's not about what your body can do. It's about what your mind perceives in the fight or in the sport that you're in.
That could also be them not trying as hard as someone who lacks that skill. You see it in bodybuilders a lot. So their genetics don't allow them to have big biceps, right? So they just don't have big biceps. No, they try and train harder than someone who already is gifted with those good genetics of they just touch a weight and grow those biceps. So some people have to try harder in areas than other people don't. I think that it's such a skill to learn what your gifts are and what you need to work on and being able to have the discipline to work on the things you need to work on. You see it so much, especially in fighting, where people have the gift that got them to the show and they don't want any more. That's what John Jones was saying to Dominic Reyes, who's fighting this weekend. He said, man, all you have is that left hand. It's going to be, straight left, straight uppercut. And that's what he did. He prepared for it. And as controversial as that win was, he still won. Still won the fight. And that's what it was. He just knew he was going to do that because he just relied so much on that his entire career from day one. He has a very powerful hand. Another person is Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder with that strong hand, that got him so far. But he also put in so much work to get to where he is. That's the opposite side of the coin, right? So that's what got him to the Tyson fight. That's why he did so well against Tyson. He wasn't training as long as Tyson was, but he knew what his skill was. He knew what he had to work on, and he worked on everything he needed to work on, and he tried to grow as much as he could because he needed to. Jake Paul, another person, he understands he's behind the 8 ball. What do I suck at? Let's get better at it. Let's get better at it. And that's the only way you grow in anything. But I feel like in football, especially in other sports, basketball, you see these people that, they crush it in high school. Everyone tells them they're killing it. They go to college. Everyone's like, yeah, man, you're like the best. But they don't want to grow within themselves like Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan, he just talked shit about himself the whole time. to get better. No, this sucked. I need to do better. I need to do better. I need to do better constantly. And that's what got him to his status.
I think that's why you have to put John Jones as the GOAT. They have the physical tools, and they had like these amazing, especially John Jones. He has like a perfect body for fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like those super long limbs, super short torso. It's hard to really get body shot on him. And he's super athletic and just has all these tools and skill sets that are just naturally given to him. But he has the work ethic, the drive, the ability to absorb the knowledge that is given to him. And you rarely see that. Normally you see one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Normally you see someone that is athletically gifted, absolutely amazing, but is not willing to not willing to put in the work to get to the next level, or get the knowledge that they need to, perform better, or they just can't absorb it, which is like so sad to see. Versus the other way around, where you have people that might not have the skill set, but because they have the dog in them, they're willing to just, spend all the hours to try to get better at what they want to do in life. And ultimately, that becomes the better fighter or the better athlete. Like Tom Brady is not an athletic specimen. I think everyone in the world can agree he ran at like a sub 640 or something like that. Like he was at the bottom of the 40-yard dash. Super weird, lanky, had a semi-decent arm, nothing to talk about, gets drafted, but because he has that work ethic, that drive to want to succeed, try to beat everyone, and the ability to absorb information and absorb knowledge, that's why he became the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you have Jamarcus Russell, who has all the intangibles, throwing huge ass bombs, and he can't even, last an entire season without throwing 45 interceptions.
Yeah, but all those people have the same exact secret sauce, and that is pettiness. All right, let's get into the fights.
So the first that I have is going to be Jonathan McCallum versus Oban Elliott.
I have Oban Elliott. I just think that he's going to maul Jonathan. I think he's just going to completely destroy Jonathan. In UFC 312, he was landing a lot of kicks. Jonathan was. And, they weren't really devastating. I feel like he was kicking, and he just had a lot of volume. But Oban, he just walks forward. He has great boxing. I think he's going to close that distance, and I think it's going to be a short night for Jonathan.
I actually have Jonathan winning because it's a battle of open stance. And I usually feel like open stance, you have to give the advantage to the southpaw just because they're used to fighting orthodox versus orthodox fighting a southpaw. And on top of it, that kick is just usually so devastating on that liver if you're throwing it right. Also, he has a really good judo background, which bodes well for him when the Welsh gangster wants to try to wrestle, try to do some clinch game, things like that. He'll be able to defend those takedowns pretty easy. But I definitely see it going over. I don't really see it going like someone getting caught in this fight. I think it goes to decision, honestly.
Okay. We could just agree on the over on this one.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
could do it.
Yeah, over. It's 2.5 rounds.
I believe it's 2.5. It might be 1.5, but
Either way, the
yeah.
over.
Andre Petrosky versus Cam Rouston. Personally, I think depending on what Andre Petrosky we get, Andre is going to win the fight. I feel like he's very inconsistent with his mindset of what he should do in the ring. Sometimes he looks really good. He has everything put together. His hands look crisp. He's trying to land takedowns. He's getting it against the cage. He's just making it kind of a dirty fight, not really a kickboxing fight, which is bodes well to all of his strengths. But sometimes he just tries to make it a kickboxing fight. And then he gets kind of outclassed by someone that's their bread and butter. So depending on what Andre we get, most likely, if he wants to succeed and he does the mixed martial arts of fighting, I think he'll take it.
Yeah, we could just ask ourselves to do some MMA math here. Is Cam better than Rodolfo? Because Andre beat Rodolfo. So I also have Andre. I think he has better cardio. I think that he's going to be a better striker. I think he's going to be better pretty much in every aspect, better wrestler. I was watching Cam's fight back in November before he was on Dana White Contender Series, and he just looked gas after halfway through the first round. I just don't think that that type of fighter should go against an Andre Petrovsky who's been in the UFC, who is a veteran. I think Andre's just going to walk right through him. I think it may go the distance. He may catch him. There's a million different ways this can go down, but Andre's for sure, this is my lock of the week. He is going to beat Cam Rouston.
Do you think it's going to be a decision, or do you think that he puts him out?
I'm very nervous because when I was watching Dana White Contender Series, I was thinking, man, he could definitely get caught. When I saw his fight previously, he gets hit with some shots, decent shots, but they do rock him. Cam is fighting out of City Kickboxing for this.
Yeah, you got Eugene Behrman.
Yeah, you have Eugene on this, and Eugene loves those feints. So I guess we'll see how he's able to adjust. But just from what I've seen in those fights in particular, I just don't think he can get it done. You're only as good as your last fight, and I think he's going to take this one.
Next on my list, Brando Pierchek versus Elisha Ellison.
I have Brando on this one.
Okay.
Do you have Brando?
I actually have Ellison money line. I did literally day to day, hour by hour, I'm changing my thoughts on the fight. There's unfortunately not enough information on either of these fighters. Like I watched them fight other heavyweights. It's hard to tell because heavyweights are just such a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have chins, some people don't have chins. You don't know who they're fighting in terms of the quality of fighters.
Mm-hmm.
What circuit are they at? But I mean, Ellison does look really, really explosive. So I mean, he could definitely catch him in the first round. Pierchek could catch him in the first round.
Yeah, that's the thing with heavyweights is like anyone could catch anyone at any time because they all have the power. But I have Brando because I just was really impressed with the fights I did watch. He uses clinch very effectively, throwing knees, throwing you against the cage, grinding you out. I think that's pretty much how it's going to go. Usually, if you're a wrestler or a wrestling type in the heavyweight, you're pretty dominant in the heavyweight. I mean, look at Justin Tafa. No ground game at all. If you have a ground game, you're pretty much going to beat him. You don't want to stand strike with that guy. I think it's going to be very similar with this. I think that Brando's going to come in. He might throw some shots. I think he's going to clinch knee a lot, get you against that cage, grind you out. Could be the over on this one, actually. I think that Ellison could definitely catch him, but either way, they can catch each other. And I think that, if anything, I just think moneyline Brando 100%.
I think that if it goes past a round, this is going to be the most boring fight we see on the card.
Brando does have a pretty good gas tank as well. That's what I noticed. So even in the later rounds, he's still able to clinch a knee. So I mean, as long as we're seeing some good clinch work, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, I mean, and you sound a little bit more confident in your pick, so we'll just go with your pick.
Yeah.
All right. Next, I have Jamie Malarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. I have Jamie Malarkey money line or the over. First off, I have a personal gripe with Bedoya. His nickname is the Machine. And I hate that. I hate when you have an established fighter, you have Merab, that is the Machine. His whole entire merch lineup, his whole shtick is that he's the Machine.
But I mean, he is the Machine.
He is.
Like every time someone goes and they train with him, they go, "Oh, I get it. I get it now."
Yeah, the math checks out.
Yeah.
That's why he's champion. He's
Yeah.
the Machine. I got you. And I just hate when people use a nickname that there's already an established fighter. What, are we going to be like, oh, yeah, did you watch The Machine this past weekend? Oh, which Machine are we talking about? No, we should have one Machine. It's the same thing with Charlie Campbell later in the fight. He is named the Cannibal. And it's like, dude, Alexandre Pantoja is named the Cannibal. That he's the champ. He wins. He got there first.
There's only one person that eats people in the whole UFC, and it's going to be Pantoja.
Yeah, 100%. He eats flyweights for breakfast. I can kind of get with it if it's different sports. Like, I think it's kind of weird that Kamaru's named Nigerian Nightmare, and then there's the football player Nigerian Nightmare from the 1980s. But, like, if you're in the same sport, come on, dude. Really? Just change it. It's fine. whatever, move on with life. So because of that, I also have a little bit of a bias. But I mean, I think Malarkey's striking is just going to be better than Bedoya's striking defense. I think because they're both coming off of over a year of rest, especially Malarkey, because he does have a little bit, he can get chin tested pretty quick. I think him having that rest is going to bode really well for him. And I think he's going to look just crisp, clean. And I think it might go to decision, and I think he just takes that one.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see a decision fight in here. But, I mean, Jamie could definitely get it done early. But like you were saying, Jamie can get KO'd. Actually, 6 out of his 8 losses is a KO TKO. So he can definitely get KO'd. I just don't think this is the guy to do it. I think this guy, when he throws, he resets right in front of you. He doesn't move. He just stands there. He throws, stands there. You can't do that against a guy named Jamie. Jamie's throwing as soon as you're done throwing or while you're throwing, Jamie will be throwing. He's going to push the pace, and he's just going to grind him out. I think that Jamie Malarkey I don't think he's going to get it done early, but he could. But I think it's a decision. I think it's a safe bet if you want to place the over. But I think safest bet is just Jamie Malarkey money line.
I think it's also weird when you see people reset and they're like right in front of them. They're still in like punching or kicking range, and you do the like they're trying to like adjust their gloves. I'm like, dude, your hands aren't even up right now, guys. What are you doing? Like, you're still in danger. Circle out and do it or something. Run back to the cage.
Yeah, that's like another thing is some people just develop tells when they're in the gym. I mean, think about how many rounds they're doing. Thousands of rounds in front of someone. They keep doing this. Yeah. Sometimes you see people that do this after an exchange, and it's just like they build those habits, and those are just tells and tendencies that you should be finding out in the footage that you're watching.
Yeah, it's almost like a period at the end of the sentence. Like, it's like, okay, my conversation's over. Now you can start.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like you would try to work out those tendencies, but I feel like there's a lot of people that do that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Luana Carolina, Michelle Montague.
I have Michelle Montague. I think that she's kind of a mid fighter. I'm not really excited about this fight. I think it's going to be boring. I think that she can definitely get a submission win. Luana has terrible striking, though. I mean, she got picked apart by Molly McCann. I mean, that just says it right there.
Are you not a fan of Meatball Molly? Is that what you're saying?
I just think that she has mid striking, and then she the fact that she could piece her up, Michelle fights at 145 usually, and this is at 135. So that's going to be an interesting amount. But she trains with Kayla Harrison. So, I mean, we know how Kayla Harrison looks, but you can't always judge the fighter by the trainer unless it's like an actual camp. Then it's a little bit different. But, I mean, there's tons of people who are in someone else's corner and they still lose. Look at, I believe Merab was in Aljamain Sterling's corner when he got dropped. Was that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he was in Roman Dolitze's corner as well when he lost.
You've heard on this a million times. I mean, Merab's a beast and Merab's killing it right now and Merab's champion, but I mean, just because you have a champion in the corner doesn't mean you're going to win your fight. So, I mean, could Luana get it done? Yeah. I just think that Michelle's just going to bring that boring pace and she'll just get it done. I think if you have to go to the bathroom during a fight or you need to go order some food or if you need to go do anything like this, I'm just calling it right now. This is the fight you want to go. Just place your money, walk away, go make some food, grab some popcorn, whatever you have to do, and then come back in like 15 minutes.
This is the take the dump fight?
Yeah, this is like, you got to take a shit. Go take a shit during this fight.
That's fucking brutal.
It's just, watching her fights, I was just like, man, this is so boring to watch. I mean, everyone that steps in the cage, we give them respect. I get that. But I can always have my opinion that she's a boring fighter out of those people.
I also have Montague money line, but I also, for my lock of the week, is her by submission.
There we go. Lock it up. Submission. I agree with that 100%.
All of her wins, I believe she's 6-0 so far as a professional fighter. 6-0, 6 up, 6 down of rear naked chokes.
Damn, that's a crazy stat.
That's a crazy stat line. Like, that's her bread and butter, apparently. She probably just takes them down, gets to their back and then just submits them. And you have Kayla Harrison in your corner as well, and you have the America Top Team, and they just churn out dogs. Dog after dog comes out of that. So I trust that corner as well.
I really hope that her striking and everything else got more impressive because, like I said, just whew.
I think you level up though too once you get signed to the UFC because you're starting to make money now. You're starting to get a little bit more exposure, and so because of that, you don't have to worry about she might have had a job still.
True.
And once you don't have a job, then you can spend your 40 hours a week on actually learning how to strike, learning how to do all these things, and I think you really level up once that happens.
Yeah, we definitely saw that with Mighty Mouse.
I mean, again, there's levels.
Yeah, working construction, doing video game competitions before championship fights, and then championship fights. I mean, that guy's he's next level.
I just still think it's so funny when he's like not emotional at all about winning the belt. And then he gets super emotional when he beats a Elden Ring boss.
So true.
So funny. He's like, I've worked so hard. I'm like, bro, you've been working so hard your entire life.
Yeah.
Kobe Thickness versus Josias Musasa.
I have Musasas.
Really?
I have Musasa on this one. I just think that he's too devastating on the feet. I think that he's got great takedown defense. His last loss was to Carlos Vera. Got kicked in the head, and then he got rear naked choked. But if he's not getting kicked in the head, and he's not getting dazed from that, then he should be fine and not getting rear naked choked. Carlos is also just an absolute dog. So I say he's going to put too much of a pace on Colby. I think Colby is more well-rounded, but I think that him being a striking specialist with great takedown defense, I think we're going to see a little bit of Adesanya, where everyone's like, oh, I'll just take him down. And then it's like, okay, like he didn't plan for that his entire camp. So hopefully we see that because this guy is very exciting to watch. Great hands. They both only have one loss. They're very young. So no matter what happens in this fight, I mean, we're going to see him in the future and see more great fights out of him. So I'm not too nervous. I know that we're going to have a great fight that night. But I think the Masasa is going to take this one. Might be an early night, but I don't think so. I think he might grind it out the whole time. Heavy shots, though.
I actually have Kobe Thickness. I think that, I mean, his pedigree of loss, I feel like Toporia's brother is a better fighter than Carlos Vera. I mean, it did go to decision. It was just kind of like a...
Did you watch that fight?
Yeah.
He was running the entire time. He was shelling up, and he was just scared the entire fight.
To be fair, if your last name is Topuria at this point, I'm running away from you at any point in my life.
Yeah.
You could be saying, hey, what's up to me on the street? I'm running away from you.
No, yeah, 100%.
Those guys are fucking terrifying.
So you think that he just got mystique?
I think he got mystiked, honestly. I mean, I'm teeter-tottering on this as well. So, I mean, I could definitely see Josias winning this as well.
The problem that I'm seeing with Colby is that, especially in the Topuria fight, is that you just throw a feint and he shells up, and he doesn't throw any counters from that. He just shells up and tries to kind of weather the storm. You can't do that against Musasa. You just can't.
He's going to rip to the body.
He's going to rip to that body. He's going to, as soon as you start angling that way, he's going to go to your leg, back to your body, and you're going to drop your hands. He's going to hit you up top. He could definitely melt you on the cage. That's where he wants you to be, is on the cage. And I feel like every fight I see of Colby, that's where, for some reason, he wants to be on the cage. I don't know why, but he just always wants to be against the cage. And I think that's actually where we're going to see Musasas do his best work, is against that cage. I think it's going to melt him like butter.
Yeah, he's just going to stalk him.
Yep.
I got you. I could definitely give it to you. We could do Musasas. I just find it really interesting that you mentioned the fact that he's active when people circle out, throwing a leg kick or trying to keep them kind of in there.
Yeah, cutting off the cage.
Yeah, you're cutting off the cage. It's weird that there's not enough people do that.
You know what it is? And I think it's actually a problem that stems from gyms. I think that when they're sparring, they go and they're sparring, and I think from like a very young sparring level, they want to regain their composure. Oh, I'm tired. Okay, well, they're circling out. I'll just let them reset, and then we'll do this. So I think that's where it stems from. But then you get to these higher levels, and they respect these opponents that they're against. They bring in Like, let's just say I'm a big dude and I bring in Cleo Roundtree, I have him against the cage. I'm not going to keep, chopping his leg and fucking him up against the cage. I'm going to let him circle out, and I need to get my work in. I need to get my rounds in. I'm not going to try to knock out my opponent. You know what I mean? So I think that what happens is it's just building bad tendencies. But once again, like Drew Dober, if he gets you against that cage, you're not leaving that cage. You circle that way, he's going to hit you. You circle that way, he's going to throw a left hook. It just is what it is. Perfect example. That's how Conor got knocked out against Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier knew he's taking a left or he's taking a right. As soon as he went that way, boom, hits him with that clean left hook right in the forehead, just drops him, sits him down, and just goes to work on him. That's what you do. You're circling out, leg kick. You're circling out the other way, hook. Just natural.
We also saw it a couple weeks ago with the two fighters on the Contender Series. It was like the opening card. Can't remember their names. Sorry about that. And
the one that was out of Knowles Academy.
Yeah, the one out of Knowles Academy. And for some reason, every single time she circled out with her hand like she tried to post, but she wasn't fully like engaged in the post where her shoulder is covering her.
Yeah, she needed a little more of a long guard.
Yeah,
post.
exactly.
Yeah.
And every single time, this chick would rip a right hook clean. And she did it, I think, 4 times. She was 4 for 4, knocked her down all 4 times with it.
Yeah, and the thing that was really frustrating is that she was just throwing hooks the entire time anyways. You've already eaten so many hooks. She's not throwing anything straight. Why are you posting like that? It's obviously coming over the top, overhand right. Just
also,
ridiculous.
Also, sidebar on that. If you're the longer fighter and you know that she's throwing hooks, why aren't you just throwing stuff down the middle?
Down the middle. Why aren't you keeping her at range with your teeth, with your straights? Like, what are we doing here? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And the fact that she's had over 100 fights, that was not a good performance.
Also, you're out of Knowles Academy.
Yeah.
He's teaching you that. Like, he's an exceptional striking coach.
Yeah.
You have obviously John Haggerty. You have Khalil Roundtree that trained out of there for a little bit as well.
You have Knowles' brother.
Yeah, like, what are we doing here? We have Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. 1, 2, 3. Navajo Sterling. Yeah, 100%. Honestly, I'm not too impressed with Rodolfo Bellato, his fighting. No offense to him. He's usually the stronger fighter. And because of that, he uses that to try to overwhelm his opponents. Usually when people do that in the lower brackets, they can kind of win because of it. They're like, okay, like I'm just more of a physical specimen and I'm going to win that fight because of it. But once you get into these better fighters that are a little bit more polished, Navajo Sterling is a really good striker. His technical prowess is going to become better than his strength. Because if you're going to just try to strength it out and try to be stronger than the other person, you're going to get worn out so fast. We see it all the time. And, he's going to probably get gassed in the first round. And then after that, it's just a feast for Navajo.
Yeah, I think that it can go either way. I have Navajo Sterling because he is a more polished fighter. I don't think Rodolfo is very good. Honestly, at the level that he's at, I think that people give him too much respect. Maybe when he's standing in front of you, you're seeing something that everyone else is not seeing. But what I'm seeing is a guy who drops his hands a lot, gets hit a lot in the face, and Navajo Sterling has a devastating left hook. I think that left hook is going to find a home. And, Rodolfo likes to push you against the fence and, try to get you to the ground that way. But I think the Navajo Sterling, just keep composed, hit him with a couple left hooks. He's going to drop. And then it's going to be game over. I think he might be able to put out Rodolfo, honestly. But he needs to make sure if he drops him, not to get too excited and eager, hop on top of him, because that's exactly what Rodolfo's going to want. If he gets on top of him, Rodolfo's definitely going to try to work his ground game. Sterling just needs to keep us on the feet, keep it standing. Rodolfo has terrible striking. He just has power, and he just tries to power through everything. Big shot here. Weak guard. Hit. Terrible. So I think that, Navajo Sterling's just going to melt him.
I think that comes from him usually being the more powerful fighter. And because of that, he's like, oh, they're not going to hit me with anything that's that strong almost. Where that's why he drops his hands. He's like, I'm just going to throw my shit. And it's going to be more devastating than what they're going to throw. And you can't do that. Like, simple enough, you can't do it, especially in those bigger divisions where people can just one touch you. You can't do that. I mean, obviously I'm biased. I do like Navajo Sterling. I like most of his fights. I think he's a pretty exciting fighter in terms of his dynamic of striking. He has very good fight IQ. So I just really want to see him kind of succeed. Just rooting for him.
Bottom line is that his key to success is to not play into Rodolfo's game plan. He needs to impose his will and do his game plan. And if he does that, I think it'd be an easy night for him. But if he goes and gets snake charmed by this guy, I mean, we're just going to see a very boring fight from a not exciting fighter.
Next, we have Loma Lukbumi versus Alexia Thainara. I have Loma Lukbumi moneyline or the fight in general to go over. I think that she has just fought better opponents. Her only 2 losses are Angela Hill and Lupi Godinez, which both are dogs, and they have really, really good striking, and they just were the better striker that night. I don't think Thainara is a better striker than Lukbumi, and I also think that having John Wood as your coach is going to be a huge advantage versus Thainara as well.
Yeah, so Alexia, she is the one that retired Molly McCann, so she's definitely going to have a big ego coming into this fight. I don't think Molly McCann was that much of a feat to retire. I just think that Loma is just going to kind of outstrike her, outpace her. She's going to carry it the whole time. I think that if you're nervous about who's going to win the fight, I definitely think you should put on the over. I don't think anyone's finishing this fight. I think that Loma has a lot of high volume and high pace. She is working with John Wood, so you know that she's going to have great takedown defense, great game plan going in, and she's going to stay focused, and she's going to walk out with that W. Easy bet for me, Loma. But, I mean, if you don't want to do Loma, you could always just do the over.
I think the spicy bet, though, is Thainara by submission, because she could definitely potentially get it done if it's on the ground and there's a little bit of a scramble. I think she could definitely
snatch up a neck or something.
Yeah, she can definitely do that. Obviously we saw it with Molly McCann, so that would be a nice little spicy bet if it was worth it. Like if it's plus 650, plus 700, putting $10 on that, I mean, it might happen. You know, if it's anything under like 400, I would be like, that's not worth it. That's a waste of money. Way too much risk for the reward.
No, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell.
So for this one, I actually have Tom Nolan. I think he's going to win. I would have done Charlie if it wasn't short notice. I think Charlie takes that fight if he has a full camp. I just think that Tom with a full camp is just going to be too much for Charlie. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I'm giving it to Tom is because it's a short notice fight. If it wasn't a short notice fight, like I said, I'd give it to Charlie the Cannibal Campbell.
Fucking nickname, dude. Yeah, I that's the first thing I put on my notes is that it's short notice fight. It is what it is. I mean, he is coming out of Longo's camp, to be fair. So, I mean, Ray Longo is a really good coach. I can definitely see them just getting him as prepared as possible.
Who else has he coached?
You have Aljamain Sterling, you have Marab, you have Alec Quinta, you have so many, you have Chris Weidman. There's so many people that come out of that camp. And on top of it, exceptional motivator as well. He's like one of those like Teddy Atlas, you know, you're going to go in the fire type of coaches. It really gets you, it gets me fired up when I hear him on the corner. Also, I think that Nolan's striking is really good. He has very good striking, and he has such a good ability to occupy the entire octagon. He looks like he just has such a big presence in the octagon where he essentially just commands the space. He commands the center. He goes and he just, you know, melts them. I could see either one getting it done, but I just think that it's going to be Tom Nolan.
Yeah, very close fight. I would say the over. I think it's going to go. It's only 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty safe bet, but I think Tom's going to take this one.
Yeah, agreed. Also, hometown advantage as well. Like when it's super close, you could just got to think, oh, where are they fighting? Oh, they're in Perth. If it goes to decision, it might be a little swayed. It's just kind of how it is. with those kind of fighters. Also depends on how the fights are going early. If you start having the success of all the Australian fighters winning, then after a while it's like, oh shit, like I have to win. I have to win. I have to win. You see it when they do a fight card in Brazil, or they do it in Paris, or they did it in UFC Noche, where they just go, 5 up, 5 down. All the hometown fighters win. So the next fight I have on this card is going to be Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. Who you got?
I have Jake Matthews. Neil Magny, I know he's got some slick ground game, but I have Jake Matthews. I think that he's going to be the more dominant in this. Also, Neil Magny on the later part of his career, for sure.
I have Neil at 38 years old, and then Matthews at 31.
That's insane right there. I mean, he's just entering his prime, Jake Matthews. And I think that if you watch any of his fights, when people are pressuring him against the cage, he does such a great job of getting respect on every shot he does. So I think that we're going to see a very similar fight to Neil Magny versus Ian Gary.
I agree. I have the Celtic Kid, first of all. Learn some notes on nicknames, because that's a sick-ass nickname to have. I definitely have Jake Matthews, money line or the over. But my number one note was I hate that I have to bet on this fight, because Neil Magny will put him up on the list. One of the fighters that I do not like betting on, because whenever I need him to win, he loses. Whenever I need him to lose, he wins. It's a complicated relationship. Normally, Neil comes out a little bit on the slow side, trying to figure things out, getting his feet wet. I think that Jake is just going to come out there. He's going to pressure him, and I think gets it done. He's going to come out with the W.
Yeah, I think that Jake's path to success is definitely going to keep it on the feet. Make sure not to rush in or anything, because Neil Magny is just so slick. You think you're safe, and then all of a sudden he has your neck, he has a limb. You don't want that.
I have Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Ersland.
So Jimmy Crute versus Ivan. I actually have Ivan. I just think that Jimmy Crute looks like Gumby in there in the UFC. And he gets chin checked a lot because his chin tested quite a bit. I think that he's going to go in there. He's going to get tested early. And I think that Ivan's going to have a lot of pressure on him. Ivan, it's like watching rock go against water. I think he's just going to keep that pressure forward. Any of Jimmy Crute's wrestling, I think it's just going to be null. I think he's going to be able to have good takedown defense, circle out, and just keep the fight on the feet. I don't think that he's really going to have any issues with Jimmy Crute. I think that if you wanted to, you could always bet the over on this. I don't think Jimmy Crute's getting knocked in this one. Betting the over would be the safe bet, but also I think Ivan's just going to take it.
I actually have Jimmy Crute money line. The only reason was for me is that he has the better ground game. And I think that ultimately it's going to get to the ground, and he's just going to be durable enough to keep it there for a couple rounds.
Did you say Jimmy Crute and durable in the same sentence?
Durable.
Just kidding.
Durable in the sense that he's able to just kind of, once he gets worn out, he can just push through. Like once his gas tank is empty, his gas tank's not actually empty, type of thing. So, I mean, he is tough, but he definitely can get chin checked.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it so many times where it's a brutal knockout where you're like, oh, God, that was awful.
How about that leg incident against Anthony Smith?
Oh, that was the first thing I thought of, honestly.
Gumby.
It's more like Gonby.
I think Jimmy Crute's best feature is that he is 11 out of 10 in the heart.
He wants to fight. He's going to bring the fight. But honestly, it's such a toss-up for me that I would give it to Ivan if you want. If you felt more spirited than me, halfway thinking, oh, yeah, Jimmy Crute might win.
Do you think it's going past 2.5 rounds? We go to the over.
I honestly don't know, because if Ersland gets tired after the first round, I think that it's going to go to the decision. But if he might be able to get it done in the first round and a half.
You think so?
I think he could. We might be able to get a round and a half as well as the over-under.
All right. If it's a round and a half, we could do that for the over.
Yeah.
And if not, we'll do Ivan.
Yeah, we can do Ivan.
Okay.
I'll give that to you. Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Tavares is going to be our next fight. Who do you got?
I have Jack Jenkins. I think he has more tools. I think he's going to bring the heat. He's going to bring the pressure. I think he's just going to give him too much to work on. He's going up top. He's doing leg kicks. He's doing this, doing that. I think he gets it. I think he gets the victory in this one. But I honestly think Tavares has some lethal counter shots. He does such a great job punching during the punching, just firing back during that exchange. And he clips a lot of people. So there's a good chance that Jenkins does get clipped, but I think Jenkins takes this one.
I think this is going to be potential fight of the night. I think that there's going to be no ground game on this. This is going to be an absolute stand-up showdown. But if it's going to be a stand-up showdown, I think that Jack Jenkins is going to win money line. I think he's just more of a polished fighter. He's really good at entrances, exits. He has a brutal leg kick. He's already TKO'd one person with the leg kick. I think he's just going to start off with that. He's going to touch up that leg. Any kind of power that Ramon Tavares has in his hands is going to get nullified once he gets a couple of calf kicks. And then he's just going to start picking him apart. At least that should be his game plan. And if that's how it goes, I think that Jack Jenkins kind of breezes on through this fight. I don't think that Ramon Tavares is, I think, a little too tough for him to actually get put out. So, I'm leaning towards a decision here. Mm-hmm. But if it's going to be a decision, I think that Jack Jenkins is the better fighter in terms of stand-up. So I think the judges are going to see that. But then also, hometown advantage, he might get a little sway from there as well. Sure. The next one I have is going to be Louis Sutherland versus Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa is another fighter you can put on the list. I hate betting on him. When I bet for him, he loses. If I bet against him, he wins. It's a love-hate relationship that's going to go on forever. I actually have Louis Sutherland by money line on this.
Huge fan of Justin Tafa. I think he's going to lose this fight. He has zero ground game, and this Louis guy, I think he's going to bring the heat early. If he takes him down, just game over. Like, he's just going to...
His name's Louis.
Louis?
Yeah.
Sorry. So I have Louis on this one. I think that Justin has no ground game. I think that Louis is going to bring the heat early. He's going to take him down. Obviously, he's a Tafa, so he has no ground game. I think he's going to get tired, and I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy to watch. I think it's going to be a little bit of a wrestling match, and a smart play, because Tafa, if he hits you, it's a good chance you're going down. Problem is, Tafa could also get knocked by Louis. But I think Louis is going to just go ahead and grind him out, take away his cardio, take away his power, and I think Louis is going to get the W.
Louis has another thing that Jack Jenkins also has, and that's going to be a lethal leg kick. His leg kicks look like they hurt, and I think that because of that, Justin Tafa's legs are going to get chewed up as well. He might be able to... one thing that Tafa is really good is counterpunching, so he could catch him. That's definitely a possibility. But I just think that Louis is just so defensively sound in the footage that I saw that I think he just gets it done. I don't think he's going to be really in too much danger. And I think that he's just the more well-rounded fighter. But, Tafa could take it. I also have it as the under as well. Because I think they're just going to kind of go to war and see what happens. Also, Louis has a very aggressive grappling style. He likes to go and do a lot of cage work. He likes to do everything like that. And as we said, that's all the Tafa's kryptonite is clinch work and grappling, ground game, all that, which he is really good at, especially for a big man. So the main event, we got Ulberg versus Reyes. Who you got?
I think that Dominic Reyes has been in a championship fight. I think he's going to get it done. He's going to understand the pacing early, and he's able to hold the pace for a long time. Carlos Ulberg is like one of my favorite fighters, but I think Reyes gets it done. I also think that either one of them can knock the other one out. And so it could be the under on this one, but I would do either the under or I would take Reyes.
Agreed. I think it's such a closer fight than what the odds show. You have Reyes that's only fought dogs, since, just before the John Jones fight has been only fighting top 5, top 10 people. Ulberg, he's fought just not as good of competition. Also, he hasn't been in a championship fight, so he doesn't know necessarily, I feel, what his gas tank is going to look like or how to pace himself, things like that, because it is going to be a little bit different. But Dominic Reyes does have that experience to know where he needs to be in the fight in terms of a pace. I think Reyes could get it done. I definitely think that this fight's not going 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Be crazy if it did. If it did, they're both going to be barely walking out and have to go to the hospital.
Imagine putting on the under, and it's 4.5 rounds.
Oh, 4.5 rounds? Easy bet.
No. And then it goes over.
Oh, it goes over 4.5?
It gets knocked at like...
Oh, don't even talk to me about that. That sounds like some shit that would happen to me.
That would be our luck. But the other thing is, Reyes is coming off a 3-fight win streak, all KOs. So he has crazy momentum, crazy mystique at this point. I think that, do we see him continue the streak? Or if he loses this fight, where does that land him? Does he break mentally? Because last time he broke mentally. I mean, he was on a little skid. He was on a little skid. And then does he have enough career and enough runway to get back from that skid? So I guess we're going to see after this fight.
This is a razor thin fight too. They're only a couple months off from each other in terms of age. They are also like perfectly balanced in terms of height, weight, reach, all that stuff is, I think it's 77-inch reach for both of them. They're both 6'4". So this is going to be a kind of interesting fight in terms of they're kind of just the same exact fighter in terms of stature. And you don't really get that too often.
Mm-hmm.
Usually someone has a little bit of an advantage over the other person and vice versa. So I don't think it's going to go to the ground either. If it does, it's because one of them's sleeping.
What a fight card, but don't just watch the fights. Go bet on the fights at MyBookie. Click the link in our bio and use code MB50 to get a 50% bonus up to $1,000 on your first deposit. That's it for this week's fights. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this content, our social media is in the description. Be sure to subscribe, cash those tickets, and don't forget, bet smart, fight hard. I'll see you in the next card.